Okay, our next row, we will be doing wash, gradual wash, glazing, and color bleed. So this is a good time to dump your dirty water and get some fresh water. Okay guys, so for the wash, we're going to use the wet on dry technique to try to get an even fill. It's almost like if you were doing like a fill bucket on like a paint program or something on your computer. We want this just to be even as possible. So you're going to use the wet on dry technique. We're going to leave the paper dry, and I'm just going to try to make this one square like completely consistent with the color. Any color. Yep. Yep, consistent. So I want it to be like a flat green or whatever color you choose. Try to keep it the same color. But now if you had a brush selection, if you have more than one brush, using a square tip brush would be easier than a pointy tip brush, but we're just using what we have. So I have some water.
Wet on dry?
Yes, wet on dry. Keep your paper dry. So this is a technique that you would use like in a background, like your sky or the ocean. Wow, this paper is really horrible. I'm sorry, guys. Add a little more water to it. Yeah, just so it's a little more transparent.
Is mine good? It's going all the way.
Yeah, it's a solid fill.
No. Yes. No. Yes.
All right. Gradual wash. So a gradual wash, this is the same idea, but we're going to do a value scale. So we're going to go from darker to lighter. And the way you do that is the more water you add to watercolor paint, the lighter it gets. So create a gradual wash where it goes from darker to lighter. Or lighter to darker, I don't care. Gradual wash.
So you go from darker to lighter?
Yes. Or light to dark. So the more water you add to your watercolor paint, the lighter it will get, the more transparent. The less water, the more opaque it is.
Wait, so hold on.
It's, remember when we did the shading scales where we went from like,
So we're just going from dark to light?
yes.
Yeah.
It's the same idea but with watercolors.
Watercolor.
So there's my example. I'll go from the darker blue to the lighter blue. But you did a good job. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, toot, man, toot. I did it wrong. Good.
Not 2 miles, not there.
I did it wrong. All right, so that's all one color. So it needs to go from dark to light. So get some water on there. Make it lighter. That is not enough darker. I want it to be almost like white. Alright, ditto. That, there's not enough value change. Try to add more water to it.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sure that was annoying. Sorry, guys. Okay, so gradual wash again. That's going from light to dark, dark to light. There's my dried example here. Dark to light. So our next one is called glazing. So think of like a glazed donut. You know how they're kind of shiny? You know that like the Krispy Kreme ones are kind of shiny and glossy? That's the idea here. We're gonna put a bunch of layers on watercolor on top of watercolor until it gets kind of shiny. So, what have I used the least? Purple. I'm gonna use a wet on dry technique, and I'm going to come back to this one frequently. Each time it dries, I'm going to paint another layer on top of it. And eventually, as you build it up, it should get kind of shiny. So I'm doing a purple heart. Whoa.
Gradual wash is dead.
You're what?
Gradual wash is dead.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's complete from my side.
So I'm going to get this one really nice and saturated. And then I'm going to let it dry and I'll come back to it again later. You know, I'm just going to keep putting layer upon layer of paint on it, the same color, until it looks kind of shiny.
I'm sorry. Ooh, I just splattered paint all over my paper.
It's okay. This is just practice.
I did a star.
I know where this kind of Chinese, but it's an Italian. Oh, cheater.
Yeah, that's cheating.
What do you do?
He has metallic ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I don't have purple, so. But I got gold.
I had velvet.
I think paint is cheating times 2.
I ordered the wrong.
That's definitely.
I ordered the wrong case. I wanted to get all normal, but I accidentally got a case that had glitter in it. Oh,
Glitter is messy.
I think mine's getting changed. I have a mini triangle on my wrist.
What?
That is good. Alright. I found a better brush so I can stop complaining about how much I hate that brush.
That's not fair.
Alright, so the next one, color bleed. This is one of the most fun things about watercolor is because it's fluid. So you are going to use a wet on dry technique with 2 different colors, and we want them to like get all mixed up. So here is my already dried version of color bleed. I have green, black, and blue on it. And we just want them to get all crazy and mixed up.
So the paintbrush be wet, and then we use dry color.
No, I'm doing wet on dry. So wet paint, dry paper. I'm not wetting the paper this time.
Okay.
Yep, I just want my colors to bleed into each other. So I'm going to kind of do like little puddles. Like I want it really wet. The paint to be really wet. And then I'm going to grab another color. And I want the color to kind of, see how it kind of, oh, hello, what's up, blue? It's bleeding into it. I'm going to put some black in this too. Black attack.
The black obviously doesn't like my water.
And if you want, you can even kind of encourage it by moving the paper. But this one you're kind of like giving up control. You're letting the paint just kind of flow.
Oh, they're doing it. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're just letting the paint kind of like bleed into it. Ooh.
I think I should just start eating.
Definitely not, but it's okay.
And like I said, you can kind of tilt your paper to encourage it to be more fluid. It should just be doing some crazy things on its own.
Eating the other colors.
Yeah.
Eating his friend.
The metallic is both for the smoke will make it so stout. I'm gonna draw one straight to the middle and see what happens. Yeah. Sparkle is going help it.
Well, I have some economic purpose.
That's what I like to sparkle.
What?
Oh, she's on your head, dude.
I didn't do that. That
But
was
it's
really
one though, the sparkles are.
Wait, what's lucky? A 4-leaf clover or a 3-leaf?
He's like, I thought it was a 3. Said a whole blank of 3.
No, I was looking for a 4-leaf clover before. I've been looking so long, and then I found a 3-leaf clover, and I was like, oh my god, I found one! Because I just forgot that. Then I was like, oh. There's genetic mutation.
Oh,
Genetic mutations of what?
paper towel wash.
That sounds like a band name.
Genetic mutations of what?
Yes. What kind of music would they play? Yeah. That's a long time ago. What would the acronym be? GML.
GML.
Yeah.
There's nobody
Ball.
ever puts the O.
I have that song in my head. Yeah, You know that song?
Hakeem, we need an interview
Yes.
now.
That's the song. Why is that like Sierra? I don't know any of those. Ooh, look at this. This is so pretty. So with the colorly, it's kind of good to get colors that mix well together. If you pick like yellow and violet, you're going to get some nasty
Well,
brown.
obviously black, red, and blue don't like each other.
No, black hates everybody.
Robert.
Black is like
Then my
pink,
colors get
yellow,
along pretty well.
everybody's pick all of them.
Ooh, I just love. I love color reading. Especially on better paper. The paper I gave you guys, I know it's crappy. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We understand.
Unforgivable. Is that what you said, Tyler?
Every function of it every day.
That's how I feel about you giving us this opportunity.
I created like kind of a camouflage.
Yeah, ooh, camouflage, that's cool. I think I love watercolor because it promotes spontaneity, and I'm such a spontaneous artist. I like using control.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I like being reckless. So
With art, not in life.
reckless.
being reckless in life is fun too. You just gotta do it right.
No, I'm not promoting that.
Everybody heard you promoting reckless.
I heard it.
Well, luckily I have this video recorded, so I can't have evidence. Wow, this is cool. This is so fun.
I wonder if whoever watches the video is just wondering what the random pause in between.
Yeah, so guys, if you're wondering what the random pause is, it's me painting another painting, a huge one on the table. I'll take a picture
Huge.
of it.
The biggest one of all time.
Oh yeah, it'll be the thumbnail for the video.
Yep. Alright, I'm really proud of you.
Ow.
Alright, we have accomplished 2 rows. That's 8. 8 is great. The next row is going to be drawing lines, paper towel blot, brush printing, and the straw.
I want to do my straw.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Alright, so I'm going to go to another video.